Hello there. This is a in-depth kind of guide for the HT1 TAS Zip since there aren't really any like in-depth video tutorials for this. So yeah, let's start off. So when you get on this platform, you want to walk off as soon as you can and face left in midair. This is pretty important because unlike if you do the extended zip, sometimes walking off too early can cause you to die because you lose your invincibility frames. When you do the TAS zip, this doesn't happen. I'm not 100% sure why, but it just doesn't. You won't die if you go off too early. And this gives you more chance, like this gives you more time to line up on the correct pixel here. So this is a pixel perfect position. When you land at first, you'll have this pixel, and you want to get one pixel away from the wall. So the way I identify this pixel, so this is one pixel too far right. You see how there's kind of like a light blue section here that's coming out of Sonic's quill. It's like there's dark blue and then there's a bit of light blue there. So if you move one pixel to the left, this part remains and then it kind of gets enlarged. So there's kind of like two lines now, I guess you could say. That's how I identify it, but you can find your own way, I guess. If you go one pixel too far, this will not work, by the way. So this is actually like this is 2 pixels too far. Let me actually get on the pixel here. So this is, I believe, 2 pixels too far. But the point is, if you go too far, it won't work. So this is the pixel you want here, kind of this one. When you get this pixel, you want to spin dash until this frame where score is in the lava and time is not in the lava, like this, and then there's like a line separating it basically. When you get this frame, you want to release the spin dash, and you'll have 3 different frames here that can give you the correct zip. One of them is consistent. I'd say 95, 99% consistent. You can get subpixel. It's very rare though. This is the frame. So you're releasing spin dash here, and you get this frame. Basically how I identify it is this part of the wall is basically completely off screen. There's just a little bit left. You'll kind of get a feel for it. And from here you want to hold left. I repause twice here because it's easier for me until the rock is fully off screen. Another thing you can use is that this patch of grass here is coming onto screen on the screen, but I just use the rock completely being off screen. When you get this, you want to release left, and you will land and have speed here. You then want to hold right here, at least for a little bit, and I'll explain why in a second. And you'll have usually 2 frames to jump. So this is the first frame. As you can see, I jumped over, and then the next frame also works. This one. And yeah. And then when you land, you want to also proceed holding right just to have more speed. And now this is important. When you go off the slope, make sure to pause because the higher your speed, the higher chance you're going to get subpixeled here is. So in this case, I did get subpixeled, but you can get the good launch a lot of the time. Let me try to get it here. I have some pretty bad subpixels here, but if I slow down here a little bit, you can see I get the good launch still. And the reason it's important to hold right here is because sometimes if you don't have enough speed, you can get, let me try to get this. I don't know if I can here, but I'll try. Yeah, you can get stopped here, and I believe this only happens if you jump on the first frame. So holding right after landing here is good because it basically prevents you getting stuck there and losing a bunch of time, which nobody likes to have. So yeah, that's basically the first frame. Now I do want to also mention that this is the only frame that works. If you for the beginning of the zip, if you don't get this frame, you can't do the zip no matter what. Let's talk about the backup frames now, which are not as consistent, but they do still work. The first one is this one frame earlier than the good frame, 1 frame before. And for this frame, you want to repause twice. I repause, so you can do 1 repause if you want. I just find it easier like this. Until the rock is fully on screen, but at the very top of the screen. So this is the correct frame. Here you release left, and I got subpixeled. Which is unfortunate. As you can see, these frames aren't the most consistent, but they do work. Let me try to get a state here that works where I can show off this frame. Nope. As you can see, it does work. You don't have to jump like that or anything. It will work without that. In this case, I just had bad cell pixels, so I had to change them around a little bit. And now let's go to the last frame that I personally know. There is another frame, but I don't know it. And it's not very consistent in general, so it's not particularly worth it, in my opinion. If you do want to know that last frame, you can ask Yandis though. He knows it from what I remember. So, yeah. The last frame, first I gotta get this. I have a really bad pause here. So the last frame is this one. So one frame after the good frame. And if you get this frame, you need to hold left until the grass is off screen, but you see these little like black remains, these black pixels at the very top of the screen of the grass. And this frame, in this case, does not work. However, I assure you, it usually does work. The thing with these two backup frames is usually one of them will work and the other one will not. So it is kind of a 50-50 on whether or not you will get the zip with one of these backup frames. On this particular state, I don't think actually either of them work, but that's very rare. It usually does not happen like that, I can assure you. So that is basically the zip itself. Now, I do want to also mention this, that if you, let me get on the pixel here. If you do not get this frame, if you don't do anything, you will die. So you need to jump out by holding right and jumping. And if you do that, you will, well, you can get this, but you want to hold left after jumping so that you collect a ring. There is another method that Yandis does for getting out of that, but it is not consistent for me personally, and I'm not very good at doing it. So once again, if you do want to know how to do that method, just go ahead and ask him personally. But yeah, getting the first frame is the most important thing. If you mess up after that, which, like, let's say I got this, you will just land here, or you will land on the upper ground there, and you can just continue as normal. So that's what I have for this zip, and yeah.